Hello, happy Monday. Gonna read this one. My utmost for his highest. These are always very deep. Very challenging. Very just, yeah. Well, just listen. Obedience. His servants are ye to whom ye obey. Romans 6:16. The first thing to do in examining the power that dominates me is to take hold of the unwelcome fact that I am responsible for being thus dominated. If I am a slave to myself, I am to blame because at a point way back I yielded to myself. Likewise, if I obey God, I do so because I have yielded myself to Him. Yield in childhood to selfishness, and you will find it the most enchaining tyranny on earth. There is no power in the human soul of itself to break the bondage of a disposition formed by yielding. Yield for 1 second to anything in the nature of lust. Remember what lust is. I must have it at once. Whether it be the lust of the flesh or the lust of the mind. Once yield, and though you may hate yourself for having yielded, you are a bondslave to that thing. There is no release in human power at all, but only in the redemption. You must yield yourself in utter humiliation to the only one who can break the dominating power, the Lord Jesus Christ. He has anointed me to preach deliverance to all captives. Find this out in the most ridiculously small ways. Oh, I can give that habit up when I like. You cannot. You will find that the habit absolutely dominates you because you yielded to it willingly. It is easy to sing, He will break every fetter, and at the same time living a life of obvious slavery to yourself. Yielding to Jesus will break every form of slavery in any human life. I believe that. When I started my blog in 2010, the year after my mom died, I wrote a blog post called Chains, and mentioned my brothers who had passed away, and I felt like they all were enslaved in chains to their various addictions, and it ultimately destroyed them. And I feel like it was God's timing, because that would have been a very hard thing for my mom to read, or so, and not ironically, I guess irony is like luck. I don't really believe in it, but not ironically, I had wrote about heaven and my brothers in my last Christmas letter, which was in 2008. I wrote about my brothers, and I wasn't thinking, and I did feel badly afterwards, because my mom always read and usually liked my Christmas letters, and they usually had some sort of theme, Um, so, like when my brother Paul died, I used a song. I always usually had a song at the end of them. Give God Your Broken Heart. I think it was by those women that sang Grace something. Give God Your Broken Heart. That's what it was. And that also happened to be the year my father and mother-in-law broke up, and my mother-in-law really liked that letter. Give God Your Broken Heart. And even my ex made, because he had made me a website where you could go to my Christmas letters and stuff. And at the time we separated, it was still up mostly, and he had made me a whole slideshow of my mom and pictures from her life and a song and all of that. But he let it lapse when we broke up, and so that really, I asked him if he could put it back up. There was a page from my brother Paul too, with a poem my brother wrote, but I asked him, for my family, could you please leave that up? But he didn't do it. But anyways, so I used to have a website with my Christmas letters and all of that. And my last Christmas letter, when my mom passed, I didn't do the Christmas letter anymore because the last one made her sad, and it was about heaven. And I said, because my brother Paul was in prison when he passed in 2002. I said, Paul was in prison and now he's free. And then my brother Tim passed in 2005. I said Tim was enchained to drugs and now he's free. And Mark passed in 2006 and Mark was homeless. So I said, and Mark was homeless and now he's home. And I said that perhaps they were working on my parents' mansions. But I never thought, of how reading that would make my mom feel. And she was very gentle, though, when she told me. She said, I don't want to forget how she put it. She was very gentle, though. She was very gentle. It was really, really, it was really insensitive, and I don't know. I just wasn't thinking. I meant it in a good way. And January, February, March, April, she passed away. So she fell on March 26th. She fell and broke her pelvis, and she had so many issues because she was on oxygen, because she had the pulmonary embolism in the 90s, I think like 95, 96, somewhere around there, right after they moved back to California. And she knew because they actually came to see us in 2001, and she knew. She said, we won't do this trip again, but she wanted to see my house. She wanted to picture me, like when she was talking to me on the phone, she wanted to picture me in our new house. And our house that my ex built, which is, most likely still not finished now. It's been over 20 years. He won't finish it. That's like a passive aggressive thing. Like, you want me to finish? I know you want me to finish this house, but I'm not gonna do it. I don't feel like it. So, But his own parents, who are like 12 years young, like my parents are both deceased. His parents are like 12 years younger than my parents, and they only lived like 8 hours away in Florida. They didn't even go see his house. So a pastor that I once counseled with was like, that's rough. You know, I would continually, one reason I did stay with my ex so long is because I felt sorry for him. But pity isn't love. So, and that's really wasn't a good reason to stay with someone because you pity them. And pity isn't helping anybody. But anyways, so my parents came to see us in our house, and one of the things I found in my mom's things was so cute was she had these little notepads. We're so much alike, it like scares me sometimes. And she was writing down like things about my house. There's 3 floors, and then she wrote, it's like in one of her journals, I think, maybe. But she also had these little notepads, and she would get so impatient with my dad that she had a whole notepad that was about positive things about Peter, you know, and he does this and he does that. And he had to start cooking all the meals because they had gas in their house, and she was on the oxygen and she couldn't be around the gas. And but I think she liked that and used that to her. I mean, she's been cooking for 50 years, so my dad could cook pretty good too. But my mom was the better cook, of course. But yeah. Yep. And so anyways, that's the story about how I stopped writing a Christmas letter, started my blog, and wrote about chains and my brother's addictions. And maybe I'll go through that post and see if I'll repost it. If I repost it, I will link it below. Yeah, I think I might do that. I had put it back up there for a minute and then I took it down. It's hard. It's hard to decide what to post and what to share. It's just like, my life's an open book. Pretty much is. But yeah, that was talking about obedience. Love y'all. Bye.